Hey, what's going on? I was just thinking, like, I just had a thought today, and, if you're somebody who's going through, depression at times and whatnot, it's not always easy. Um, and some of us are dealing with, severe depression. We might not be taking medicine, or we might not be, you know, diagnosed by a doctor, but some of us are really going through the ringer, and it's been a while. It's been a while like this, a long while. And you get to the point where it's really tough. My experience is that, basically you just need to, when you're going through hard times in life, you can't apply all your time and energy into trying to improve your life or make it better. Um, just because you don't have the emotional energy to put in that type of effort. You are, in a sense, you're defeated. You're defeated. Just like life is too heavy, life is too hard, seems to be unfair, seems to be hopeless. But in times like that, and sometimes this can last. you know it can be, you can have a good day and a bad day, or I mean, it can be a period of weeks, a period of months, or a period of years, without stopping, and it can get really heavy and really hard. But what I found is you got to basically just figure out emotionally what type of effort you can put through and put that effort in. I currently have been going through some stuff where I can't put the hours or the time or the energy or the focus into my projects, just because the emotional energy, the I've just been zapped of, like, everything. And what I found is I always got to keep a sliver of hope. And what that means is, like, for me, I try to, even if it's just like a 15-minute improvement on a project that I have, I try to always have some type of a longer term project where, the future might be a little bit brighter, even if I just do 10 minutes of this per day for the next 10 years. Ideally, I want to get in 2 hours per day, and be able to have that type of emotional energy to be able to do it, to be able to do that. But honestly, it's not always the case, and oftentimes I don't have that. I just don't. I'm just, you know, going through things like, not seeing my kids due to false, um, narratives being written against me by, the mother, and dealing with, living in another country as a first generation immigrant, meaning I'm the first guy here, I'm the only guy here, and I have no family or friends here, really. I mean, it's rough, and you gotta just basically have your projects. I'm not, going out of my way trying to find friends or another girlfriend or whatever, because I just feel like it's not the time. Like, if I meet somebody in this state, it's just not gonna work out fantastically anyways. So my thing is basically just like, just, try to figure out what it is, the minimum amount of time that you can put into a project, and try to do that every day. And if the rest of the time you're going to be depressed, or you're going to be crying, or you're going to be dealing with anxiety, isolation, just severe depression, then so be it. I mean, you can talk to your doctor and try to figure it out. Just try not to do anything stupid. And but the main thing is just like, just trying to make the progress, like, 1 hour per day, 2 hours per day, and just try to occupy yourself with anything that takes your mind, anything that basically takes off your mind off of, like, the sad state of affairs is a good thing. And of course, drugs and alcohol are things of this nature. These are temporary solutions, and usually they have longer term, negative things associated with them. So I wouldn't really recommend that as, a tool. Um, but life is hard, and I understand why people do it, and, try to wean yourself off that as much as you can. And sometimes being sober means, you do experience those hard feelings, and you do sit there alone at night in the dark occasionally, and just like wonder what is happening with your life, you know. And it is what it is. You got to be strong, share your feelings when you can with who you can, and if it's too much for people, don't share it, because a lot of people, they have their own problems, or they just don't want to hear it, or they think it's your fault, or there's a judgment or whatever. I mean, it's rough because people usually don't want to be talking about this type of thing. It's just a hard thing to talk about, and it's easier just to pretend it doesn't exist and just kind of push you aside, and that leads to more isolation. So just do what you can. Life isn't hard. When if you do have contact with family or friends, try to make the most of it. And for example, I'm seeing my kids tonight. I'm really happy because I recognize that there are some people who are in my kind of situation who might not have kids, and who might not have that momentary moment with their kids, which is like kind of like a relief, kind of like a lifeline for the short time that you're with them. So it's not much, but some people don't even have that, and we just got to try to hang in there. And depression is real, and people do things sometimes due to depression that can't be undone, and the main thing is try to build whatever situation you're in, however dismal it might seem. Try to build it in such a way that it increases your chances of mentally being able to push through, and for the mid to longer future, and to that some point you might see better days, and that's pretty much all you can do, so I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, just being realistic with how heavy this stuff can feel, and just saying good luck, don't give up, and put in that effort, and just know that life can be hard, and life isn't always fair, and sometimes injustice can put you in a really bad situation. And just know that there are other people out there dealing with the same thing. And I do believe, even though I'm stuck in the middle of it, and I've been stuck in the middle of it for a long time, I do believe that there is the potential for a brighter future. Yeah, there's always going to be hard moments, but um, always got to keep that hope that there's meaning to all this. There's a purpose to all this. That this can go somewhere good at some point, even though if it's been bad for so long. I do think you got to hang on to that sliver of hope, and fight and fight and fight. Anyways, good luck, guys.